Okay. Today is the test podcast.
Boop boop.
Yep.
Yay. Should be fanfare there, I think.
Yeah. I'll add it in post.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got a few topics. Have you all got access to Google Doc?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so choose a topic to start off with, anyone.
Right. Let's do Titanfall. That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
Why don't we
So what's
kick off
everyone's
with
opinions on Titanfall?
I really don't have any opinions. I've not played it, so not only that, but I'm not a bit interested in Titanfall, I'm afraid.
Fair enough. For everyone. I definitely think it's not living up to the
I'm
hype.
back.
There he is.
Hey, Brogan's
Sorry,
back.
I don't mean to interrupt in the middle of your guys' conversation.
Yeah, it's fine, we only just started.
Alright.
Okay, I think Josh, you were saying something.
Yes, I
Sorry, go
was. Yeah, I don't think it's living up to the hype. I think it was definitely overhyped. Good game, but I mean, I was expecting so much more. It still feels like a beta almost on the full release. Still, I don't know why. It just doesn't feel like a full game. Not because there's no single player campaign or anything like that. And the campaign's bullshit as well. It's just, that's a bollocks.
Well, we've kind of come to accept that single player games have kind of been moving away from this idea of, okay, let's play with a single player campaign, or let's play for something that's got a really good story. And they're starting to, or at least first person shooters are really starting to move into more of a multiplayer aspect. And you see that with Call of Duty. Like in Call of Duty, there hasn't been a good storyline in single player since, Modern Warfare 2?
Did
So
that
that's
have
like-
a good story?
Yeah, there were, at one point in time, there were actually good Call of Duty games.
I will
But
say,
now-
the first Modern Warfare had an excellent story. I thought that was good. Good one.
Yeah.
I think that's the last one. It was decent.
But I think we're just running into this trend of that we're seeing, okay, well, you're only really going to play it for multiplayer, so what the hell is the point of putting in a single player campaign, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I wasn't really expecting Titanfall to have a single player, like, at all. But I don't know. I can't really put my finger on why it doesn't feel like a full game. Not because there's no single player. I think it's just not that many features that they put into the full game which weren't in the beta. It's like maybe one or two extra things.
That might be why, because if the beta was already so complete, and most of the time when you're playing through a beta, the game is pretty much decided on what you're going to be playing anyways. Like, I've played through a lot of betas already, and by the time it actually comes out, there's not a whole whackload of changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so say you running through an alpha game, then that's going to change a lot, but a beta is just going to be like things like, okay, well, there's this bug here, so let's fix this bug.
Yeah, and server load and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's almost as if you've played through most of the game already.
Yeah. I don't even know why they bothered with the campaign as well. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. But you have to do... Oop, go on.
No, I haven't played through the campaign. Continue.
Right. The only reason you would need to do it is just to unlock the other types of Titan, because you can't get them any other way other than doing the campaign, which is kind of, silly idea. And the characters are not memorable. They spent all this money on voice acting and animation and stuff, and it's just crap. It doesn't need to be there, like, at all.
Guess that means that the single player campaign's more of a lackluster thing than the multiplayer thing.
It's not
That's
a
the thing.
single player.
It's not even a single player. It's pretty much multiplayer, but with people talking in it. That's pretty much it. Like, there's supposed to be like character development. Well, not really character development, but there's supposed to be some aspect of the story in there, and it just
You can play like co-op through it.
You just play online. It's literally an online game, but just with apparent story in there as well. And it's mostly just attrition and hardpoint, and that's it.
Interesting.
Sounds a lot like...
Sorry, go ahead, Mel.
Sounds a lot like Dust 514, with a lot less single player campaign thing,
I've never played that game. I can't say, but I'll agree with you.
I've never played, but you are correct. Yes.
Yeah, I can't say he's wrong.
From what I've seen of it, it looks very Call of Duty-esque and FPS-esque, where you just run around and shoot things.
You can definitely tell it's from the makers of Call of Duty, absolutely, yeah.
I'm
Yes,
not a fan of COD, but I do really like Titanfall.
It's a good game. Good.
I think it's the fact that there's like the AI. It makes everyone feel like they're doing well.
Yeah, I think I don't know who I saw on YouTube talking about it, but it's as if they've taken the idea of League of Legends, where you've got like minions and getting creep scored up to get your score up and to get your Titan and stuff. Like, and it just makes the battle feel a bit more epic as well. There's like a lot more going on than just 8 players or 12 players rather, just fighting each other.
Yeah, I've
Good
heard that
idea.
off of Kotaku as well, in that it's nice because the thing about if I don't know if you ever played through Battlefield 4, but by now if you're trying to jump into it, you're kind of screwed in that you just don't have the skill to play with what other players are doing. But
Yeah,
the thing
especially with
about
all the
Titanfall,
unlocks.
yeah, so you don't really have to worry about just jumping in and just having fun, and it makes you feel like you're still making progress. And it's just a different approach to first-person shooters. It's just not what we're used to. And
Yeah,
I think
I
it
like
just
it.
brings a lot of different stuff to the table as opposed to just another Call of Duty ripoff.
Yeah, they could have easily have just done no innovation at all. But I like that they've at least tried to change it up a little bit. Trying to get used to the verticality of it as well is so weird. Like I was playing some Capture the Flag before I did this, and instead of just like running through corridors or using my Titan, I was trying to wall run and stuff just to get like loads of speed, and it's quite difficult to do. But man, is it effective because no one else is really used to it either, so you can just fly around and not getting shot.
Yeah, being able to free run is something that is not really done in other games or running on walls. Jetpacks was kind of done in Halo 3 a bit, but not so much. Or like, yeah, it was done all the way back in Star Wars Battlefront 2, but obviously it's not as crisp as Titanfall was able to kind of implement it.
I believe the one that used the jetpack the most was Tribes. Have you guys ever heard
Yes, I have played it, and I couldn't play it for more than 5 seconds because it was so difficult. I just couldn't shoot anyone. It was ridiculously hard.
Yeah,
For me, at
Tribes
least.
definitely revolves around that.
I could just be retarded. I don't know.
While on the
of that?
note
You
of
just have to be
games,
real skilled.
while on the note of games featuring parkour and things, I've got a link to actually show you that you just remind me of.
Go on.
I'll put a clip of this in the video. It's a game made with the Unity 3D engine that features parkour. It's a bit like COD, but it's a lot more open in where you can go.
Interesting.
It's nowhere near completed, but it is a great feature. It's getting better at each update.
Okay.
That is like real early alpha.
Yes.
Well, it's
Seems a
only
bit
update 29, so
Still a ways to go.
yeah, just a little bit.
Has anyone else
Generic
actually
dubstep
played
for another.
One Finger Death Punch from Silver
I
Dollar
have.
Games?
I have
like that
before it
game.
was released on Steam.
That is a fun game.
All you have to do is just either click left or right, and then bam, pow, wow.
It is so simple,
s-
but you feel like a god when you're on a roll. So cool.
I don't know. You guys have probably seen it before because we all browse the same subreddit. But Drunken Robot Pornography is probably one of the games that makes you just feel very satisfying when you play.
Definitely.
Drunken Robot
Yeah.
Pornography.
Yeah, it's like
What?
it sounds worse than what the game is. Trust me
Absolutely.
on that one. It's also called like drunk. Go ahead, Greenie.
I were quite surprised when I first played it. It is extremely fun.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, the entire point of the game is it's a first-person shooter, but it's kind of revolved around a jetpack mechanic, and it's just you who's fighting against just what they call them Titans, which is just basically a large robot,
Yeah.
and you're just blowing shit up. But like everything you blow up, parts are falling off. There's explosions everywhere. Like it's not difficult, but it becomes incredibly satisfying to play through just to open it up and be like, holy crap, I just like destroyed the hell out of that guy in like a minute and I just had a blast doing it.
I guess you want to make the Titans fall.
Hey, didn't.
And the way they do it as well with jetpack and flying around, and you can get around everywhere. So it's like these big maps where you can just do all these different things and do these different tactics. And
What was it
I
called?
can,
Drunk Robot Pornography.
Drunken Robot Pornography. You can probably get.
I'm not going to put that into Google.
Actually,
scared
if you
what's
put
gonna
that
come
into
up.
Google, Steam's the first thing that pops up.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
Oh, just
You can also
Google it.
type in Drunken Robot Battle Royale, and that'll pop up as well.
Oh, right. No SFW stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
Well,
check that out.
Yeah, it's super satisfying when you're playing through. I would definitely recommend checking it out.
It looks anime-ish.
Greeny can vouch for me for this. I didn't want to play it because I thought it was going to be a really bad game from what I saw of it. And then when I played it, I was literally like, I have to play this again.
Yeah. You know, it's always a little bit of a worry when developers approach you and they're like, "Hey, you should play through my game," and I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I will check it out first, and then I'll get back to you." Yeah.
That is unless they
But-
approach you with something that's actually good, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but most of the time, or at least in my experience, most developers approach me with beta builds of stuff. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's okay, other times it's a little... eh, some of it's not great. It has good starts, but if you guys are in for a really weird laugh, you should check out Savage, the Shard of Gozen, and head into this one... head into the cave once you get past the beginning, and you'll be very much surprised as to it just breaks all continuation of the game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I tried that out. It's still in its development stages, but it's
Yeah.
not that bad.
Oh, Savage Star Goshen is a pretty good start. It feels like 2-bit Skyrim. Sorry, not 2-bit, 2D.
Well, I was
2-bit.
thinking. Well, it reminded me of a old game. I don't remember what it was called though. It was just basically where you just run around and do stuff. That's very simplistic.
That is very
but still.
vague.
Oh,
That's
it
almost
was,
every single
Yeah.
game I think that's ever been released.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember what it was. It's pretty much. It's pretty much
Beast
like when
Mode
you.
or Beast Fall, something like that. Beast Hunter.
Yeah, I think it's Beast something.
How the
Yeah.
fuck did you get that?
Yeah.
It's a game where you go around and do stuff. Beast Hunter. Yeah. How the hell did you
Oh.
extrapolate
I know
That's
my
good.
games.
I think we've got a psychic in here.
It's just where you
I think
go,
so.
flip levers, grab keys, and just avoid these monsters. You know, climb
Yeah,
up,
I-
don't fall too far, that sort of thing. Not like Prince of Persia, you know.
Yeah, I think we're talking about this. Let me see. Somebody tweeted at me the other day when I played through it. Check out what my notifications were. Like Beast Fall or something like that. Altered Beast. There we go.
Altered Beast was awesome.
Altered Beast
No,
is
what's
what it
something
reminded
else?
That was on the Mega Drive. That was a great game. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, Altered-
Genesis, is it?
Yeah, Altered Beast is a nice game. I've never actually played it. Never had a Sega.
I think I only ever managed to get to like level 3 when I was about 8 or 7, and I could never get past that.
Yeah. What do you guys think of with the creative director of The Last of Us leaving?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard much
Who
on
was it? Yeah, it was the main, not the main scriptwriter, but one of the. I'll try to find the link here, but one of the persons that was crucial to Last of Us development is now leaving and moving on to the Mass Effect franchise again.
Really?
Is Last of Us developed by Naughty Dog?
Yes, I believe
yes.
so.
Yeah, because I heard about the woman who
Oh,
left Naughty
sorry,
Dog
not-
from. Oh,
My
go on.
mistake. It's from Uncharted. Here's
That's the
here's
one. Yeah,
link.
I knew that's what you're talking about. Yeah,
Sorry, my mistake. Not Last of Us. Uncharted.
yeah. I don't know why, because she was like one of the, like almost at the top of Naughty Dog, wasn't she?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. There's the link for that.
God knows why
Yeah,
she
she
wants to
was-
move on to Mass Effect.
No, sorry, not Mass Effect. Oh, what did she move on to? She moved on to. Oh, there's one game that she used to be the leader of, Amy Hennig. Hang on a second. She used to be the creative director for some other game, and she's left Naughty Dog to move on to. Yeah, she's done things like Jack and Daxter and the Legacy
Huh.
of Kain. That's what it is. Legacy of Kain.
She wants to do
Oh,
Legacy of Kain
Legacy
again,
of
does she?
Kain.
Yeah.
That was a good, fantastic series, actually.
Yeah, Square
Awesome.
Enix is actually bringing the Legacy of Kain back.
Really?
Yeah, for this whole team versus team thing called Nosgoth. I'm not too sure if it's going to be a great game though.
Team versus team as in like Marvel versus Capcom, or do you mean like League of Legends sort of thing?
More like TF2.
Ah, right, I see. So they just want to get some like hero characters in games just so they can make another game with them.
Well, it's more like, you're a regular guy, you're just gonna go and kill these humans or kill the vampires, whichever side you're on.
Ah, okay.
The problem with trying to make a new TF2 is that TF2 is really only popular because of the quirkiness of it, and it's honestly a lot of its success is attributed to its low graphic comic style. In that most people don't play through TF2 because they want to be hardcore and beat it. Like me and my buddies, we call ourselves the friendly heavies, and we walk around, smile, wave at people, and hand them sandwiches, and then run back away. Like people just do ridiculous shit on it just because that's what TF2 has turned into, and that's what's kind of brought its popularity.
I haven't played TF2 in a while, but when I used to play it, I have myself self-tagged as the demo chef. Yes, they're called demo pans, but I call myself the demo chef because I only use the frying pan. No matter what, whenever I pick demo chef, it's the frying pan for the melee weapon.
See, and it's things like that people do random things like that, and that's what has kind of attributed to Team Fortress's success over the years, in my opinion, at least.
I think it's definitely helped from that it's coming from a mod itself as well.
Yeah.
True.
And definitely because it's free, people look at it and go, might as well play this game, it's free.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think of this whole move towards this free to play? I know you guys in the UK, one of your I can't remember what this article was, but I was hearing that you guys are actually not allowing games to be called free to play anymore if they include a lot of microtransactions because they're not actually free to play then.
I
honestly,
have no idea about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty...
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right, Josh?
What was that?
You know what I'm talking about with that?
Not really. I've heard something about it, but I honestly haven't. I don't really pay attention to the news much, other than what's on Reddit and the UK, United Kingdom, or its subreddit. Which is probably quite bad. I need to start reading the papers.
I've actually read something about that on one day.
Just posted a link for you guys on the doc.
Oh,
sorry, go ahead, Mel.
I just think that for some things that have microtransactions, it would need to be reclassified as something else instead of free to play. Because there's pay to play, pay to win, that sort of thing.
I was going to say, why don't we just call it pay to win? Legally. That's
well,
a bit
for TF2,
much.
For TF2, it's not exactly pay to win because you don't exactly get an edge in the battle.
Very grey area, I think.
That's kind of the nice part about Team Fortress is that every item you can get, you can find, but it's not overly difficult. And their weapons are so balanced in that if you really want to play a character in the most balanced form, you play it as their stock loadout. And then if you want to actually get like specific gimmicks or stuff, then you're giving up certain abilities, so it doesn't make you super overpowered having better weapons. Something like loadout where you level up and you can get equipment to be able to get just phenomenal weapons, or something like Battlefield, you end up getting phenomenal weapons and you just destroy everyone. Something like Team Fortress, when you get something new, you're actually making yourself worse in some ways, but better in others, so it kind of balances it out.
There's always a fine line you've got to tread, really, haven't you, when you've got to do that sort of thing, because you don't want to have players leveling up and not really gaining anything, because what's the point in leveling up? But then, on the flip side, you don't want new players coming in getting crushed by level 50s with just crazy good gear. Very fine line.
It's sort of like when I see a game that says free to play, I go, what's the quirks?
Yeah. Have anyone played Hearthstone? Because that's free to play.
Yeah. Hearthstone is a pretty... Sorry, go ahead, Mel.
I haven't played a lot of Battle.net games recently. I mean, I stopped ever since, StarCraft 2.
Well, I mean, with the new Diablo 3, and wow, we go off on tangents a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, with the new Diablo 3 expansion coming out, you could see another peak in Battle.net. The thing about Battle.net and Blizzard's games is they really go through a large peak and plateau stage in that you'll see this super rise in popularity when a new game comes out, and then another year down the road it'll stop to drop. And then you've seen the same thing with the StarCraft 2 expansion. There was crazy popularity again when it was hyping up to it, and now that it's been out for about 6 months, the popularity is starting to drop again. So now Blizzard's releasing a new expansion for Diablo 3.
They've got a really good business model going on. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long they can last doing that.
We have enough money to wait out.
They're phenomenal at game design, though. Like, have you ever played a Blizzard game that you haven't really been impressed with?
WoW. I didn't like WoW.
Even if you didn't like WoW, though, you can't. The game has been out for what, 11 years now, and it's still maybe not 11, 8 years,
Yeah.
and it still has like 11 million players on it.
Is it
They've
that
also
much?
been
Jesus
revising the
Christ.
world, you know?
Sorry, can you explain that point further, Mel?
Let's see. Cataclysm. They've revised the world so that you can use your flying mounts in the, in Lordaeron, Azeroth, in those continents instead of the Outer Realms.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing I like about Blizzard's DLCs compared to other companies' DLCs, in that it's not just adding on extra levels, it's adding on extra game mechanics. So I'm assuming I'm correct here in that Cataclysm added flying mounts?
Cataclysm added, Cataclysm made it so you can fly in the main worlds, whereas in the Burning Crusade, you can only fly in the Outer Realm.
Okay.
That's what I'm calling it.
Okay.
I
So
know it
yeah,
has-
so like it. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
know it has a proper name, but I don't remember what it was called right now.
It doesn't matter. It's just the point that that is kind of important. That like when Blizzard adds in a DLC, it changes the game itself. And I'm just trying to think of other companies that really shape the game rather than just adding on. Well, Bethesda is probably another good example of that, in that they add on things that kind of reformulate the main game as well as the worlds that they add on. But something like Dishonored or LA Noire, or Rockstar, when they add on, they really just add on extra worlds or extra weapons that don't really dramatically change the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of an idea between like what's an expansion pack versus what's DLC or something like that. There's like two kind of different ideas of what those are, really. Like expansion packs and then DLC are two different things sometimes.
I guess most games aren't really calling them expansion packs now anymore, though, eh?
Yeah, DLC seems to be the buzzword everyone's using these days. God knows why.
Ooh.
Only because online, it's you're downloading it online. It's not exactly you buy it from the store.
But it's
But sorry, go ahead.
expanding
Josh.
the game. I was just going to say, it's the same thing, really. It just expands the game, but then does it.
Well,
I
there's
don't know where I'm
nothing
going with this.
wrong with DLC when it adds stuff to the game. The issue comes when, like, you look at something like Battlefield 4, when they're bringing in their China operations, and the game's not even finished yet, and they're just about to release a new DLC. Like, what the hell, guys?
I don't know
What
how
are they
they thought
thinking?
they could release that game in the state it was in. Is
Yeah.
it still pretty bad? I haven't played it yet because it just looks atrocious.
As far as
Like,
my
buggy as
friends
hell.
have been playing through, I don't think it's as buggy anymore.
Like, that's crazy. Battlefield 3 was
Yeah.
so successful, and
Mhm.
Battlefield 4 is successful as well. But I mean, it was a ridiculous state to launch the game in.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a thought
Also-
on the topic, but go ahead.
I was just going to say, also day one DLC when it's just on the disc, that is absolute bullshit.
That
Yeah,
was I
you
was about to brought
bastards.
up, actually.
Is there any other company
Yeah.
that does that? The only one that springs to mind for me is EA.
Yeah, EA is mostly the largest issue with that.
They're
On
doing
the
something
topic
right,
of
though.
EA, I don't really like EA. That's my my
When they
word
just
about that.
voted the worst company in the world again for the third year. Or is it about to be?
I think it's the second time they've been voted worst company.
Yeah, I don't know.
God.
See, the problem is EA kind of has a history of having decent games. Like Spore was fantastic.
I really wanted to play that, and I never got around to it.
Yeah.
Spore was a great game. Put miles and that into any of them.
Such an interesting
And, like,
mechanic.
You've got Sim City before it went to hell with the newest
Oh
one. You've
my
got
God,
you've
I
got
know.
Crisis, Dead Space. Like it's got some, and Medal of Honor before that also went to shit. And like pretty much any sports game that are all pretty decent still. Like it has a long history of having really good games. It's just recently they've gone too much or
Yeah,
too far.
they might be overreaching a little bit.
Yeah, and like Mass Effect was fantastic.
I
For
don't
what?
see why people were so pissed off with the ending of Mass Effect 3. I understand a little bit, but they were insatiable. It was insane. The amount of hate that BioWare got for that. They actually had to release like a further explained ending for each one. Mental.
Well, I can understand it in that the entire point of Mass Effect is
It's
the
your
choices
story
you
sort of
make
thing.
shape it. But
Yeah.
at the end, the only difference between the endings was red, green, or blue. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that is quite lazy. I
Yeah.
don't see why they couldn't do why they couldn't have done like a proper cutscene at least, because it was just a montage. Like each one was just a montage, and that was it.
Well,
That's kind of bullshit.
yeah, but writing stories is not hard. And the only problem is this is kind of the conundrum that games are coming in when they're running into their final series, and that PC gaming is starting to get such a larger fan following to it that it's kind of like in Half-Life 3 that it's so overpowered that when it's released, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, I think the expectation will never meet the actual result.
And we're
I
seeing this
remember-
time
the
and
other way
time
around.
again. Like with Titanfall, we just saw it in that people are like, "Oh, it's a great game, but it's not as good as it could have been because of
Yeah.
this." The problem is we're starting to run into we're reviewing games for what they should be rather than reviewing games for what they are. And realistically, we should be reviewing things for what they are and what they have on them rather than, "Oh, I would have preferred to have seen it as this." Like
Yeah.
that's something you review when you're reviewing in beta. That's not the game designers decided to do this because they did. You can't review something on what you would hope it to be. You can't review on ideals. You have to review on
What is?
what we're actually here.
Yeah.
On the note of alphas and things, I was in a conversation on YouTube with some people on about complaining about DayZ, about how it's still buggy, and every time I pointed out the fact it's an alpha, it's in development, it was always, well, it should be it should be good, it should be perfect.
There's them. Have they ever developed a game on their own with
People
no
are
experience of it?
expecting things way too much.
That's this weird trend with these early alpha games in that like DayZ has been an early alpha and now that it's been out on early alpha for a long time, when the game is actually released, I don't think a lot of people are going to be playing it still then.
Yeah, I think they might have burnt themselves out on it.
Yeah.
The idea of the game has been out for what, 2-3
Um,
years now?
I
It
don't
was
know.
in
It's just
Arma
dependent
2.
on whether. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done now with it. That was all I had to say.
I just think it's just dependent on the contents. Think of Mojang's Minecraft. People still play it to today.
Yeah.
But the
I
thing
think-
about DayZ is it's not really revolutionary as Minecraft was.
True.
Like Minecraft brought something new to the table. It really brought a large sandbox world, whereas we didn't really have games before. I mean, yes, you can argue SimCity, yes, you can argue Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto, but it's not really the same sort of sandbox as Minecraft brought along. Whereas DayZ, and personally, I've never played through DayZ, but I've seen a lot of playthroughs, and I know bit about it. It's not really something that's overly unique. Like it's a survival game, yes, there's zombies, yes, but it's really unique because people are changing the way they're doing it. Like raiders coming up and just being like, "Give us your pants," and if you don't have pants, they'll give you pants and then run away, and they're just called the Pant Bandits.
Yeah, and the possibilities, like, you go into a place, you can find spray cans to paint your guns, you can find handcuffs, rope, you can do all this stuff, you can craft things, and this is just the early things they're thinking of putting in.
There is a
The
lot of
problem is-
potential for that game.
Yeah. But there's so much potential. The only problem you're going to run into is that potential's never going to be fully realized because people are going to be like, oh, let's add this. Oh, let's add this. Oh, let's add this. And it's realistically, it's probably going to be another 2 years before it's actually out of alpha and into beta mode. And even then, people are going to be like, oh, well, why can't we have this as well?
Yeah.
And you're going to run into a Duke Nukem Forever instance that the game's just going to keep in development and it's never going to finish.
The same with
Or
Minecraft,
Half-Life
that kept
3
going on.
instance.
I think Valve will never release Half-Life 3 just because they know they can never meet the hype. So they'll just
Well, I think
keep to their guns.
I think it's more like Gabe Newell. He has no idea what to do for Half-Life 3. In one of his interviews, I think, he said that he has no idea what to do with Half-Life 3. How to make it. You know? It's
I
like he
don't
just
know.
hit a literal brick wall.
I think that might be that he's probably got ideas. The only problem is it's never going to live up to the fascination. And honestly, it's better for Valve if they never release the game. The amount of publicity that they get off it for Half-Life 3 confirmed. Everybody is constantly having their eyes on Valve. And I mean, it's a fantastic... And if they can just systematically leak little things about how they're still in development when Half-Life 3 isn't as big anymore, like it's become like a central meme icon that's been progressing for like 5 years now. Like, it's not a small thing for Valve.
A lot of their publicity is also from it.
Yeah, exactly that. So you're going to run into issues of whether are they actually going to release it? They're not going to release because A, it's free publicity. B, the fans still love them for everything that they're creating. And C, there's just no way that they could ever create a game that would live up to fans' expectations. And Mass Effect 3 is pretty much a perfect case in point of that.
I think there's a lot of people worried about a game you might have heard of called Star Citizen. It's biggest crowd-funded game. It's just raised 40 million so far, but I mean it's dogfighting module, which is where you pretty much dogfighting. It's supposed to be out last November. It's still not out yet, and people are worried. I mean, you can buy ships for it that are over like $1,000.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
And
a
you
lot
don't
of
There's
actually...
nothing micro about that transaction, is there?
no.
God.
And all you
Holy
can do right now is go into your hangar and look at it. But people are spending all this money. I've spent $110 on it. But they walk you through every single, all the processes they do each week, all the work they do on the game. But there's a lot of people who's worried it's not going to live up to, the hype.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it, and the trailer looked absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
That was an incredible trailer. But obviously, it was completely CGI, so,
Actually, that's not. That's the in-game engine.
Was it?
Yeah, you'd be
Holy
surprised how good it looks.
Yeah.
God
That
damn.
game is freaking stunning. And it runs on Mantle, or it's going to be running on Mantle as well, eh? So you're going to be removing a lot of those CPU bottlenecks. And I don't know if you heard, Greenie, but they're actually supposed to be releasing or showing a demo of dogfighting at PAX East.
Yeah, and
Ooh.
what they're saying is, as soon as they get home after that, that's when they should be releasing a dogfighting module. But
So what is the point of Star Citizen? Because from what I've seen of it so far, it's just dogfights in space, or is there a lot more to it than that?
well, there's a single player called Squadron 42, where it's a bit like the old Freelancer games and the Wing Commander. And
I
then
have no idea what that is.
I've never actually played it myself. As far as I know, it's a bit like EVE Online, but it's not point and click. It's like you're actually in the cockpit of your ship flying it.
Yeah.
You can have friends on with you, create clans and all stuff like that. There's a lot. This is the worry. All the things I say they're going to add to it sounds a little bit unrealistic.
Good to be true. There was I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but there was something online. I'm not sure if they're actually still developing it. There was an idea of a game that like you had the entire universe to explore, and you could do everything. I don't know if they're still making that, but I haven't heard anything from it in quite a while.
I believe the Kickstarter was funded. Do you remember what that game was called?
I have no idea. I imagine if you just start to Google the game of the universe or something like that, a universe game or something like that, and they wanted everything, and they wanted physics, travel, space travel, time travel.
Universe Sandbox, was that it?
That could have been it, yeah, something like that.
No, Universe Sandbox is released already. I think you're talking about the game where the in-game world is literally the Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Has anybody else besides Josh or myself heard of that?
The trailer for it was awesome.
Yeah. Essentially, what they've done is they've created the world map is the entire Earth. So if you were to literally walk 1 kilometer one way, it would literally take you as long to walk that 1 kilometer as it would on Earth. And they're basically creating a new Earth to see what this virtual world would look like. So like you can start creating clans, you can raid other towns, but it's all in real scapes. So say you want to fly over to Asia, you would literally fly over Asia once somebody has being able to create a plane or whatever.
It's, like the idea of it sounds so good, but then in like practical application, it sounds really boring.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to walk to my friend's house that's 2 kilometers away.
So not the sort of thing you just leave running in the background and then just, go have something to eat. Or go out and then come back and you'd finally be done.
Yeah. Like, is this the kind of game where, like, if you need to go to Asia, you're going to have to, like, sign a form, send it off to the passport office, wait 6 weeks for it to come back, and then you can get a flight?
See, the thing about it, though, is that you're creating a virtual Earth. So it's not going to be like, okay, this is America, this is the UK, this is Canada. The whole point is that people have created their own civilizations within it. So it's possible that and because, like, if you look at Rust, which is the survival game I've been playing through a lot of, when you try to create towns and town halls and stuff, most people don't actually live into this democracy style. They sort of want to be more archaic in that they just come and they just destroy towns. So it's possible we never even get to the point to actually having purposeful towns or governments inside this universe project, and that's kind of the whole point of the game.
Yeah, it's like a social experiment, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it just stays in a savage society.
Probably knowing the internet.
And there'll probably be areas that people will actually come. I don't know if you guys heard, but on Rust, some guys are attempting to create a town hall and a mayor of the certain area, and it's actually coming along pretty well.
I haven't given it a go yet, but I've heard quite a lot about it on like Reddit, on the Let's Play subreddit. There's quite a few people playing it.
Yeah, Rust is. While I haven't played through DayZ, I'm quite a big fan of Rust. And yes, I know I just kind of criticized this whole early alpha stage and stuff, but it's kind of cool to be able to interact with the developer and be like, okay, developer, we want farming. And in the next 3 updates, they have farming.
Yeah, well, my only concern is why I can't play that is that, well, it's a Source Engine game, and usually Source Engine games are very CPU heavy. I mean, I can't play TF2 anymore.
Damn.
What's your CPU?
I don't know. My computer is very old. Let's just leave it at that.
I don't
Did it
know
have a floppy disk drive?
No, it's not that old though. It's about 5 or 6 years old. It hasn't been updated other than a replaced video card. That's it.
Oh, okay.
You tried overclocking your processor?
No, I think that would probably kill it though.
Well, it shouldn't. Depending on what processor you have and what your CPU cooler is.
Mine's just a regular fan, and it's a dual processor. That's it.
Yeah, that a dual core would probably start hammering that. I'm assuming you got an old Intel.
It's probably an old Intel.
Sorry, I'm a bit of a hardware junkie, so.
Cool.
What are you running at the moment?
I've got a 4770K, a 780 overclocked. Yeah, my 4770K is running at 4.3 gigahertz, and so that's like a quad core i7. Then I've got a GTX 780 overclocked to 1200 megahertz.
Oh, that's just. Does you really need to overclock that?
No, I don't. When I boot up Rust, I'm running 1,000 frames per second.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, if I were to boot it up, it would be running about 20, 30.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it'll blue screen.
Yeah. You probably just need to clean that shit out, man.
Yeah, I've been cleaning it out recently. I've just been cleaning out all the dust, making sure it doesn't get a whole lot of dust in it. I usually clean it out about once every month.
All right, well, let's move on to this Steam Valve controller then. We're kind of hopping in a bunch of ones, but what do you guys think of it? What's your first initial impressions on it?
You mean the first Valve controller or this new Valve controller?
Not the first. There was a first Valve controller?
Yep, they brought one out.
The one, the one with the eye for controllers. It's not exactly a joystick. It's more like a pad.
Just a circle, isn't it? Like a trackpad.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same one here.
I'll just copy the link in here. Oh no, maybe not.
Oh, it's still the same. So yeah, I've seen it before.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
Looks okay.
Honestly, it's a revolutionary idea. I mean, it's different from the controllers. It doesn't exactly need the joystick, and chances are it may be more durable than them.
I don't know much about durability. I know that if it's like a rubber touchpad, it may not be more durable than Yeah, it might be more sensitive in that with a regular plastic joystick, you can scratch it and you're fine. The problem is if you run into and you scratch, but then again, people that are going to be buying this are probably going to be pretty careful with the controllers anyways, but it might be more sensitive to that.
Unless you let the kids use
I haven't really been keeping up with it. Is it for a PC or is it for the Steam box?
Steam box.
Oh, wait, what?
The Steam box is a PC. It's just running Valve OS. So, have you heard of Big Picture mode?
No.
Have you tried it out? So, if you boot up Steam right now and you have a controller plugged in, on the top right-hand corner, there's something called Big Picture mode. You click into that, and that allows you to go through your Steam AI with just using your controller.
But is that needed? I think it comes down to the question: do we need that? You've got a mouse and keyboard, unless you're sitting on your couch or something, then is it really necessary?
That's what Valve is trying to do right now. Sorry, go ahead, Mel.
It's basically to each their own. Some people prefer a controller over a mouse and keyboard, and some people prefer a mouse and keyboard over a controller. It's just dependent on, what sort of game they're playing and whether they would rather use a controller or a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah. Obviously, there's some games which you can't play with the keyboard and mouse. I can't think of any at the moment, but there's definitely some which controller is more suitable.
Playing Dark Souls is a great example. Dark Souls on the keyboard and mouse is ridiculous. You can't do it. There's just no way.
Yeah, because you've got to be so precise. Not precise, sorry. I can't think of much, honestly.
It's just so buggy and the controls are just not in the right way. But something like playing Dark Souls on a controller is great. However, playing something like Left 4 Dead is a nice in-between in that it's great to play on the controller, but it's also great to play on the mouse and keyboard. But something like a platformer like Rayman Origins is something that I would never want to play on a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, platformers are usually a controller thing.
I'd agree with that. With Mark of the Ninja, that was I couldn't play with the keyboard.
Hack and slashes as well are better with controllers.
Sorry, go ahead, Jenko. I didn't hear that.
Controllers better with the hack and slash games like. Can't really think off the top of my head.
Dynasty Warriors fighting game.
Yeah, just any hack and slashes really. I prefer playing with a controller because it's that more. You can press more buttons quickly, which is the aim of the game.
It can be a lot more not precise with the movement, but the left stick, because it's got a lot more directions on it, definitely helps with movement, other than just up, down, and left and right.
Yeah, I think that's what Valve is trying to kind of brace in between. I don't know if you've seen the tech demo of the Valve controller, but playing Portal 2 on the mouse and keyboard is awesome because it's so precise. But playing on the controller is nice because you can be sitting back on your couch or playing with friends. And Valve's trying to kind of bridge this gap in that their customers have been kind of asking them to be like, okay, well, we want to be able to play on our couch every so often. And I'm sitting in my room. Sometimes when I'm just playing a game casually, I prefer to pick up a controller than pick up a keyboard and mouse because I can lay back. I can sit back in my bed and game while I'm doing this. And I think that the Valve controllers kind of giving you that ability to still have that preciseness, but still have that kind of relaxedness and sitting back in your bed.
Yeah, definitely trying to, like you said, bridge the gap.
Do you think that you guys will be trying out Steam OS, or do you think you'll be sticking with a Windows guy?
I'll probably stick with Windows.
Windows has more options.
I'll keep tabs on it.
I'm gonna keep an eye on it as well. It seems pretty interesting. I mean, I'm willing to try out new things. I mean, I do have a Ouya.
Oh god, I'm so sorry for you.
You have
you heard that new thing about the
Yes,
Ouya as
I
well? The
do.
fact that they're trying to get Android, well, Ouya games not on an Ouya, just on an Android. So they're pretty much going backpedaling almost.
Isn't that the whole point of the Ouya? Is that just
Pretty
running
much.
Android?
Yeah. It had such good potential.
Yeah, there are
Wow.
problems with it. So yeah.
On a scale of 1 to very annoyed, how sorry you bought it?
So, right in the middle.
Yeah,
Well, it's not so bad though, because it's only $100 hit.
that's true. Could have been worse.
Not only that, but there are some neat games on it. I mean, there's some games that are only Android only. You could get an Ouya and play it on it. You know. You just have to be careful
that-
which game to play because sometimes it just doesn't work. You know.
Yeah, I would agree. That's gonna be it for me today, though, guys. I gotta get heading out.
Alright, see you later, Bogan.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice and broken. See
So-
you later.
Yep. So that was fun. Shoot me a message or whatever or Janko, shoot me a message for when the next podcast will be up, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your time.
Yeah, you too, see you later.
Peace.
You want to
Alright, nice
go
talking
ahead
with you
and
guys.
you want to go ahead and plug in your channel.
Hang on here and just let me find it on
Time
YouTube.
to whore yourself out.
Hey guys, you want to check me out?
Yeah, I figured you'd want the viewers to know your channel as well. You know, just plug in your channel in the podcast.
Yeah, that's probably a good one. I'm Brogan Games, as you probably won't be able to see from the title, and hopefully we'll have a graphic that'll have everybody that joined today, who it is. Yeah, Brogan Games, just go to youtube.com/user/BroganGames1, or just Google me in the search bar. You'll be able to find me pretty easy. I play a little bit of everything. Right now I'm playing through Walking Dead, Rayman Origins with some buddies, Lego Lord of the Rings, and then I also do a series called Prototypes, where I'll play through a bunch of beta and alpha builds, and I'll kind of give my first initial impressions on that. And most of the time I'm playing through Steam Greenlight games, so you can try them out for yourself, and we can collaborate about what you thought about it in the comments, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Sounds pretty good.
Cool.
So
Yep.
I will I'll see you guys maybe next week then, if we're gonna do this again.
Yep, definitely.
All right, later guys.
See ya.
Yep.
Bye.
Alright, so next topic, I guess.
This is, Stallion83 hitting 1 million gamer score.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah, I think
impressive.
I think I saw an article in one of my gaming magazines for it. I think he also got a permanent gold membership for it as well.
I think it's about bloody time.
Yeah, I've heard he got. Did he get a white Xbox or the Titanfall Xbox One? Well,
I have no idea. What, given him to him, or did he buy it?
yeah, no, he got lifetime gold and an Xbox One.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder
Which
how
has-
many games that he has played were bought for him, or he bought himself. Because that's got to be a lot of money if he's bought himself. A lot of money.
It probably is.
Probably spent more than 1 million.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, how many points? It's dependent on the game. There may be some points that give a bit more and some that give less. I mean, it could be less than 1 million that he spent for 1 million gamer score.
But well, hopefully some of the games are given to him as well, because I know he probably got a large following,
True.
just reaching that higher gamer score. Because that's insane. I
I
don't even
think
know how many
someone
games
else
to
was
play.
trying to compete with Stallion 83 as well.
Really?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I think he's left him in the dust now.
Yeah. I mean, once you reach 1 million, you win.
Yeah, that's it. That's game over.
I barely got 1,000.
I think I've got just shy of 60,000. I used to be a real big gamer score whore.
Yeah, I've got one here as well, don't we, Greenie?
I used
I
to
don't
be.
know
I've
my
got
gamer score.
I've got just under 85,000, but since going on PC, I've obviously not been going as many. So
Yeah, same here.
all I've had recently is just the odd game I've had on Xbox One.
A couple of my friends bought an Xbox One, and one or two of them are quite disappointed the purchase. I'm glad I didn't buy one.
But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he really did this. I mean, it's a huge achievement. I mean, he's probably been doing this ever since the 360 came out, or around then.
Yeah, I can't imagine how many hours he's put into that. Ridiculous amount.
How many games you'd have to buy to get all that score as well?
I don't even want to think about it.
It varies depending on the game. I mean, some may give more points, some may give less. You know, some
Yeah,
may have a
arcade
lot
games,
and
like-
some not. It's just so varied.
To dedicate that much time to it is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
More power to him.
I
To
think he
say
also
that-
had a 24-hour marathon to reach 1 million gamer score.
Yeah, I'm sure I saw that somewhere on Reddit somewhere, actually.
Yeah, that's where I first heard about him.
Kotaku here.
But 1 million, that's like people get like 1,000 or 10,000, they're happy, and then 1 million. It's just like
Well, to say the Xbox, how long has the Xbox One been out now? It was, what, 4 or
Probably
5
a year.
months?
Something like that, yeah.
Less than a year. That's roundabout.
So he's pretty much got most of that just from the 360. Now there's all life of Xbox One to go as well.
Well,
How long before it hits 2 million?
shudder to think.
Yeah.
I mean, he would probably be given a lifetime platinum, and they wouldn't even have a platinum.
What does that even mean? They'll have to invent something to give to him.
Yeah. Because getting a lifetime something, that's pretty much a neat thing. I mean, you don't have to worry about spending money on it anymore.
Probably spent a fair bit. What,
Well,
40
you
quid
spent a
minimum
fair
a
bit
year?
just to. Yeah, you spend a fair bit to get the gamer score, but after that, you don't need to spend any more.
Oh, yeah.
Except for the games, but yeah, that's a different thing altogether.
Right, should we move on to South Park, or do you guys want to discuss this a bit more?
yeah, we went to South Park.
I haven't played it, so I can't really say anything, but it looks good.
I've seen South Park, on streams, playthroughs, not exactly playthroughs, but speedruns. Honestly, the designers have been pretty close to the actual art style of South Park. I'm not
Oh,
exactly
absolutely.
a South Park myself, but when I saw the game, it's not that bad, but there's some content that makes me wonder if it really should be given a higher rating.
What rating is it? Is it an 18?
Rated M.
I don't know what
rated
that
M.
means. 17 and over? Oh, I'm not sure what the American things are for that.
Well, rated M I think is 18 plus.
That's fair. Well, there we are. If you're an adult.
Yeah, but there were just some scenes that I just think, oh my gosh,
it is
this
South
needs
Park,
to
though.
be
Very
this
dark
needs to
scenes,
be
though.
higher.
Well,
Hold on.
I've
Does it
been
get-
playing it and I don't watch the show. I
Yeah.
was really surprised at some of the things that happen in the game.
And there's like
Um,
anal probing, that
yeah.
sort of thing.
Well-
Things of that nature.
On the consoles, it got censored in Europe, didn't it?
Yeah. But not on the
Europe and
PC for some
Australia.
reason.
Yeah.
It's strange.
From what I've
Fun
seen of
game.
it, it seems like a great game.
Yeah,
It looks funny as hell.
if you're
Yeah,
a fan of South Park, it's definitely worth playing. I've never really watched it, and I enjoy playing it. So
Well, I had a little bit of enjoyment, watching some of it. There were some times where I just think, oh my gosh, and just go away from it. There are just some times where just watching it just really creeps you out.
Yeah, I know
Disturbing
it's,
scenes.
there's an achievement you can get on the 360, probably on Steam as well. That I think if you watch your parents have sex for a minute, you get an achievement for doing that. Like, what the
Oh.
fuck? What the fuck?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that scene. I wish I never saw that. But gadzooks. They really have a lot of stuff, and
I'm in a Batman comic.
There's just so much,
Graphic
lewd
content.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have expected anything less from Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
I'm quite interested in the fighting style, the way it's like I want to say turn-based-ish.
reminds me of Final Fantasy, which I'm not actually a fan of because of the fighting. After playing South Park, I think I might give Final Fantasy a go again.
Yeah? Which one?
I
All of
usually
them?
like, yeah, well, any of them. I've heard the older ones are better.
Seven's
The
good.
game really plays like a real life, an overhauled version of a LARP.
Yeah, that's like half of the game's based on. Well, not really based on it, but like the idea of the game is LARPing, isn't it?
Yeah,
On
and
the
then
whole story.
things just go way out of proportions, when aliens appear, and well, actually South Park has aliens, doesn't it? I don't
Yeah.
exactly watch it. But there's just so much things that just bring it out of control. And then when you fight the enemies, like the aliens or the zombies, you just LARP them.
Yeah, and it adds to a bit of more fun and comedy to the game instead of this like gritty fighting style we're used to.
Yeah, I think like you use fart as magic is one of the things, isn't it?
Yeah, you can grow
Oh, mana,
by,
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, the power within.
Is that what it's called in the game, is it?
Well, I think they call it the Dragon Shout. But it's not exactly from the attic, it's from the basement.
Oh, right. I didn't
Yeah.
know what you meant then, but then I got it.
Yeah, they use. There are some attacks that basically are farts. You fart at the enemy.
I think I'm just immature enough to enjoy the game. I might have to buy it.
I first started playing it. First thing I did, every person I saw, I just stood next to them and fired, just to see the reaction.
Like, there's no need in putting that in the game, but it's just funny. You got to appreciate
I'm probably never gonna play the game because my own, self-ethics. And just watching it makes me want to play Rain Slick Precipice of Darkness again, the first two, because there's a lot of funny stuff in it.
I don't think I've ever heard. What was it? Rain Slick Precipice.
It's basically, the full name is Penny Arcade's Adventures on the Rain Slick Precipice of Darkness.
Try and say that 3 times fast.
Okay. Penny Arcade's Adventures on the Rain Slick Precipice of Darkness. Sorry.
What's that game like? Is that like a turn-based sort of RPG?
Well, it's a half and half because the first two were developed by Hothead and the second half was developed by Zaboid. The first half is basically it uses an ATB meter, whereas the second half uses a more of a queue line of sorts.
So it sounds like Final Fantasy 13 the first half, and the second half sounds like Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, and the graphics are also very different. Whereas for the first part, it's basically very comical. You know, some of the cutscenes are in comic formats, whereas the other, it's basically in basic Final Fantasy stuff. Pixelated bit stuff, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I think
As
I
someone
might
who's
be
never,
one of the few minorities of Final Fantasy fans who actually enjoyed 13 and 13 too.
13, it's an okay game. The story is lackluster, and from what I've realized, it's a hallway game.
Yeah, it absolutely is. There's no exploration in it at all, unless you count the planes, which I mean, there was barely any exploration in that anyway.
Hmm.
But I did all the they had those like side quest. I can't remember what they're called now. The statues or something. Well, they were. There was like 64 of them, I think. But I did all those after completing the game. Like I put just under 100 hours into that game. I enjoyed every hour of it. It was great.
right, should we move on to something else?
Yeah, I think that's that.
Hmm.
Alright, we've got 2 topics left. Take your pick.
Let's go with Candy Crush and King. Those bloody
Yeah.
bastards. I didn't know that they weren't trying to trademark candy only in the US. So they're still trying to go for the trademark everywhere else, just not in the US, is it?
I think they want to do it, but everyone's saying no.
Yeah, that's a real dick move. Because they only have that trademark possible because they bought a game which had that name title that came out before some other candy game, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a big argument, and this other game, which was really like Candy Crush, and it was made a long time before that. They found that, made a new one, I think. I'm not sure on this, and then brought it out, and that became their game became more of a hit, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And trying to like ruin the competition by trademarking the word candy.
They're also trying to protect the word saga. There's
That's
been a lot of
bullshit, yeah.
yeah. There was some news, with the Banner Saga. Have you guys ever heard of that or played it?
I
I've
can't
heard
say
of
I
that.
have.
It's a pretty good game by Stoic, and the design of Banner Saga. It's a really well designed game, and the reason why it's called a saga is because there's going to be more than one part.
Yeah.
Whereas for Candy Crush Saga and all the other sagas that King made, they're not exactly sagas, aren't they?
No, it's
I've
just a
never
name
actually
that's
played it.
tacked onto the title for no reason at all. It's just
Yeah,
Bejeweled, for Christ's sake.
it's just a gimmick Bejeweled, but yeah.
Is it even a gimmick, Bejeweled? Because, I mean,
I
I've never
mean,
actually played it myself, but I know sort of the basics of the game.
I think from what I saw of some of it, there are different layouts. It's not exactly one big square where you just match three.
Alright. There's a tiny bit of innovation in quotation marks.
Yeah, but honestly, it's not exactly worth being called Candy Crush Saga if it's not a saga game. I mean,
Yeah.
there is actually a game before then that actually uses the word saga by Square Enix. Saga Frontier.
I don't think I've actually heard of that one.
There's a lot of games with these little words in them that the trademark of them, and they go, "Oh, that's my trademark. You can't have that in your game."
That's literally like trademarking the word and. Or the. How ridiculous.
I mean, it's like the previous time this happened. With Elder Scrolls and Mojang's Scrolls. I mean, if you say, "How do you like the scrolls?" You're gonna be confused on what that means. If you say Elder Scrolls, that makes sense, or Mojang's Scrolls, then it makes sense as well. Saying
Yeah.
scrolls is it's too confusing to consider which one is which.
I don't even understand how they managed to get a trademark for the word saga. How did
I
that
don't
even
think
happen?
I don't think they even trademarked it. I just think that they're just trying to protect their identity of using the word saga for all their saga games. They have that all these games that are just, casual games, they have the saga word tacked onto the end of it.
Yeah, I think that might just be so they have some kind of relevance to each other. Sort of tell it's maybe the same company that's made them. Even that's a stretch. Otherwise, they just serve no purpose at all, seeing as they're not even an actual saga. I haven't really heard much about this, but The Last of Us winning the best game BAFTAs.
They won
And,
quite a few awards as well.
Did they?
Yeah,
Wow.
that was the biggest one. The one best game of the year, I think it was.
Are these all from the BAFTAs, are they?
Yeah, the BAFTAs.
I didn't even know the BAFTAs were including video games in their awards. So when did they start doing that?
I don't really know. I think
it's a separate thing in it. They have their own video game BAFTAs. So
Ah, right, I see.
I think
Yeah.
Last of Us is definitely worth it. It's a great game. The one I'm slightly confused about is why Grand Theft Auto 5 won the best multiplayer game.
Yeah, I think if Grand Theft Auto just fall a bit short, didn't it? They
Yeah.
still haven't brought Heist out. Why? God damn it!
Oh no.
That was like the biggest hype for the multiplayer, and it's what 6 months out and nothing.
Yeah.
Not even a word from them. They just keep bringing out these bloody expansions.
Yeah, bringing a car for like 3 days or something and getting rid of it. Bringing
Yeah.
snow for Christmas Day only, then it's gone. I mean, who's going to get on GTA on Christmas Day to get, go on and play it?
Yeah, unless you've got it for Christmas.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, and we've already gone off topic.
So long as it's BAFTA. I mean, I actually read some news that actually Hideo Kojima was actually the one hosting for one of the BAFTAs, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, Hideo Kojima was there.
An interesting choice.
I think
as a
it's a good
host.
choice because Hideo Kojima is actually a revolutionary. I mean, when he does design games, he usually pushes the console to the limit.
Oh yeah, have you seen the transition from like Metal Gear Solid 2 to Snake Eater? Quite impressive.
Yeah. I mean, that was what it was in his job description when he was hired at, Konami when he first began. He was hired to, push the system to its limit.
Ground
I
Zeroes
guess
looks
it's
really
ba-
impressive as well.
I think he just really liked to push it to its limit.
What he does.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say you'd played Last of Us, by the way, Greenie?
Yeah, it's definitely the best story I've played recently. I didn't rate the online very much.
That was just like a death match, wasn't it?
Yes.
I don't know why
Same as-
games feel the need to tack multiplayer on.
No,
Leave
I
it.
don't.
Just leave it out.
Uncharted, I don't think it needs it. And Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider were horrible online.
Yeah.
Yeah, in some cases, single player would be better off gone, or multiplayer, vice versa, that sort of thing.
Some games it works well, but I think if you've gone for a game that's mainly just a story-driven, experience, why tack the multiplayer on?
Mm-hmm.
It's the other way around for some. I mean, I think Call of Duty should drop the single player because not many
Yeah, they
people
need to
play
stop
it.
kidding around. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that in some cases that the story is it's just the story. It's just there. It's not exactly thought-provoking or impressive. It's just there.
But
It
if they
doesn't
spend,
need to be there.
yeah, if they spent less time on the single player or just cut it out in total, then they can make the multiplayer even better.
Yeah,
now
they
you're
probably.
back to Titanfall.
Yeah, yes, we are.
Yep.
Yeah, why they even bother with that campaign? Oh my god.
Greenie, you've played the campaign for Titanfall, haven't you?
I enjoyed it, but it did. I mean, what were about 3 cutscenes on it? There only one bit of the campaign itself I actually enjoyed it were one of the IMC's final missions where you start off in a space station and then you
Yeah, I knew
go
what
in a
you're talking
little
about.
pod and shoot down. I thought that bit was quite awesome.
That was cool. I think that was the that was Made Men. I think that's the last mission.
Yeah.
Your IMC headquarters.
Yeah, I enjoyed that and epic music as well. But I thought, well, you're bringing these like good ways to start the missions and these cutscenes and this nice music now. Where would it all rest at, game?
Yeah,
Trying to make us, this emotional music, trying to make us care when we don't even know what they're on about because we've been too busy killing people on the last games to even care what they were talking about. Anyway, no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I've played that campaign like 3 times now, and I still can't understand what's going on half the time.
especially talking to your friends on like Skype or something or whatever. Like, yeah, it's just unnecessary noise.
Or shouting when you get stepped on by a titan when you're
Yep.
trying to jump on it.
That's annoying as hell.
Titan stepping on soul. Ouch.
It does make a bit of a satisfying squelch though when you dash over someone, kill them.
Oh. I had quite a fun one earlier. There was a guy running along a wall. I just went up to him with Titan and punched him, splattered him against it. That felt quite good.
I'll tell you what's pretty ridiculous as well. Actually, when you unlock the Strider, that's like the skinny one, which is like a bit faster. It's got a bit better movement but less armor. And there's like the dash core. Well, the core ability on that Titan is the dash ability, and it just gives you unlimited dash, and you can just spam the spacebar, and you will fly around the map for like 25 or 30 seconds, and no one can touch you. It's just crazy fast. That needs to come out of the game. I think that's just like ridiculously overpowered.
Or be toned down.
However, if you've got someone who's
Yeah.
climbed on top, that's not
Yeah, but
gonna
then
help
if
you
you've got
against
the electric smoke, but
Yeah.
that's quite useless as well. Like I find if I use that, half my health's gone before it's even done anything to the guy on my back.
definitely. But it does help. Sometimes it scares people off, and then sometimes, if you have got a lot of health, it does kill them.
Yeah.
Or the smoke can be a distraction while you get out and just shoot him anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. It takes quite a while to get out as well. I've noticed.
Yeah.
The animation's fair, but if you're in a bit of a rush, it's kind of annoying. Well, I suppose that's the game for you, isn't it?
Alright, well, I think I'll wrap this up. Time for channel plugin. Josh,
Yep.
you start first.
Okay then. I am Overclock Gamers TV on YouTube, and at the moment I'm playing through Hearthstone. I'm going to be doing some arena runs, and I know like there's hundreds of other people doing that at the moment, so it's a bit saturated. But I'm also doing it's like an first impression series called Showcase, and I've done 2 so far. I'm going to mainly focus on indie games, just because there's a following for those, and basically any game that I sort of find interesting. Sometimes they'll be good, sometimes they'll be bad. But it's just a first impressions, and that's pretty much it at the moment. So
Right,
Overclock Gamers
sounds
TV.
good. Send me a link through there and I'll put it into a document.
Yeah.
Mel, you go ahead.
Okay, yeah, my channel is basically the same here. Just youtube.com/user/Melkadrian. It's... Sorry. Sorry, I was just in one of my spiels. Yeah, Melkadrian, it's basically pronounced different ways. Melcadrien. What I basically do is mainly indie games. I don't do anything else. I do Kickstarter, freeware, demos, new or old releases. The one game I do every week is my playthrough of Our Darker Purpose. I do playthroughs, I do look-ats. I sometimes do reviews of games depending on whether, it warrants being reviewed instead of being looked at. I have 2 projects going on. The main project you already know, which is Our Darker Purpose, every Friday. And the other one is basically my playthroughs of any other game that I'd like to play. My current one that is being put up right now is Soulcaster 2. and I'm working through all the games by Magical Time Bean, which is Soulcaster, Soulcaster 2, Escapegoat, and Candy Escapegoat Saga.
Okay, nice. Joe?
Feel bad plugging anything. I hardly said anything the whole time.
Well-
podcast.
Yeah. All right. Well, me and my partner have a channel, Dojo Gamer Show. We call ourselves. We just started up again after a long time of not doing anything. So, we just do whatever. We just started up a series of Killer is Dead. So that's gonna be fun. We do a 2 to 3 videos a week, hopefully, again. But yeah, that's us.
Right, Greenie, you might as well.
Well, I don't really, compared to everyone else, I'm not really doing much. Well, my channel's Paragon Gaming UK. All I'm really doing at the minute is The Walking Dead, trying to get through to season 2. I'm a bit behind, but it's we do a lot of other stuff. We do previews, reviews. We pretty much play anything. A lot of random content on our channel, if I'm honest with you. Pretty much it.
Variety is the spice of life.
Right, I'm Jenko. I work for Greenie. Currently, series are a GTA 4 police series using British police cars, Fallout New Vegas, Don't Starve, which is the newest thing I'm doing. I do a few patrols with a RP group, and I'm hoping to get a few just snippets of DayZ in with a Paragon vibe or Corey. That's about my channel.
Happy days.
Alrighty.
Yeah, is that everything?
Yep.
Awesome. I think it's time to call it a day now then.